Welcome to the ARMS User Guide for NIBRS Training, Lesson Number 3, Property and Evidence Setup. Looking at the difference between reporting property for UCR and NIBRS, you're going to remember that UCR, you're collecting a pretty short list of property, and even then it's only stolen and recovered property values that you're collecting. In NIBRS, you're collecting a much more extensive list of property values, and that could be anything from stolen property, recovered, seized, vandalized, all sorts of other codes that we're going to learn about on the next slide. So to compare to UCR, where you're just collecting stolen and recovered property, you have 8 different codes for NIBRS as far as why you're interacting with this property. And that could be 1, none, burned, counterfeit, forged, destroyed, damaged, vandalized, recovered, seized, stolen, and even unknown. So many more attributes that you have to keep track of as far as why this piece of property is on this case report. And then next, just like UCR, it's going to collect a property description, though NIBRS does have its own list of property descriptions. So when you're looking through this list, you're going to notice that the list that you already have, that your officers may be used to using, is not the same list that NIBRS has. Well, we make this easy for you by giving you the ability to match a NIBRS code to one of the property type values that you already have in your system. This way, you don't have to reteach the officers which codes to use and when to use them. They can continue to use the same codes that they're used to, and ARMS will automatically know which NIBRS code to link to each piece of property based on the property type value the officers are already putting in. Our first point here is just that. NIBRS property description reporting can be derived from the property type entered into ARMS in the case management module underneath the property evidence window. This doesn't change anything about what the officer's already putting in, but by doing this mapping on the back end, we're going to speed up this process of filling out your NIBRS review. So to associate these, you're going to need to go into your NIBRS property description code setup. Underneath the code list in the property evidence category, subcategory property type, you'll be able to go through each of your property type codes and actually associate them with the proper NIBRS property description for each code. Once you've done this for all your codes, like I said, this is just going to speed up that process and make sure that the officers are already doing what they're supposed to be doing, so the NIBRS coordinator has less to do on the back end. So for this example, we're going to look at coding a cell phone code that's already in your database to now pop up under NIBRS as a portable electronic device. So what we're going to do is we're going to first get into our code list, which is underneath the setup menu. So we're going to go to File, Install Setup Code menu, and then we are going to pull down our setup code menu and look for code list. Step 2, we're going to go through that code list and select a category of property evidence, and step 3, a subcategory of property type. Once you've done that, you'll be able to see all of the codes that fit that description. You're going to then look through that list and you're going to find the code that you already have, in this case, in my example, a cell phone. We're going to modify that code, and then we're going to look for the drop-down field labeled NIBRS Property Description. From there, we can change that code to be portable electronic devices and then hit save. Now we just need to perform this function for all of our property type codes, and once again, it's just going to speed up the process. And once we have completed those steps, now anytime an officer puts in a cell phone into a case report underneath stolen property or whatever the case may be, when NIBRS looks at that case report, it's not going to see a cell phone, it's going to see a portable electronic device. The rest of these slides are going to show you some idea of some of the different codes that are present that are going to need to be mapped out in your code list for your different property types. Now you may not have need for all of these, so you don't have to have every single code represented. But if you ever do, you'll be able to come back to these lists to actually pull back exactly which code you need to make sure that it's numbered correctly. Now, if you don't want to look through the video for this, we do have all these on our support site, so please let us know if you need any help getting to that. We'll be happy to get this up and going for you so that you can have this available to everybody within your department in something other than just a video format. Otherwise, these codes will be what you need to get yourself started and begin entering in these codes into your code list so that you can quickly begin reporting NIBRS property properly.